So let's say you're in the middle of a big test and you come across 2 3/4 divided by 4 1/8. Well, you've got your nifty graphing calculator. Should be easy to put this in. Well, it's not real easy. So I want to make sure that you understand how to put in fractions and change them into decimals, or just even to enter a fraction or a mixed number like this on your calculator. So let's start with one of the simplest things, which would be, let's say I want to just put in 3/4 and find out what it is as a decimal, or put in a decimal like 0.8 and see what it is as a fraction. Well, to put in 3/4 on the calculator, you can put in 3 divided by 4, and if you do, it'll tell you it's 0.75. That's nice and simple. So 3/4 is a decimal of 0.75. But let's say I wanted to have a decimal and change it into a fraction. Well, all I have to do is type in the decimal, like 0.8, and then it's a function to change this into a fraction. It's under the math key, and it's math, and then the very first one on the top there is frac, and that stands for fraction. So you can just hit enter, and then you hit enter one more time, and it makes your decimal into a fraction. So that's why wasn't it 0.8 is 8/10? Well, 8/10 reduces to 4/5. So it not only makes you a fraction, it reduces the fraction for you too. So that's kind of handy if you're trying to look to reduce something. Let's say that you had 8/10 and you just were blanking out and couldn't think of how to reduce that. You could enter and make it into a decimal, and then take your decimal and make it into a fraction. So I go math, and again enter, and enter one more time. And now I've just changed my original 8/10 into a decimal and then into a fraction of 4/5. So it'll even reduce fractions. So this is pretty handy, and really all you've got to remember is math button and then enter and then enter. So math, enter, enter. All right, so now let's go back to that question I had before. Let's say we had 2.5 times 3 2/3. And I want to put that in to my graphing calculator. Well, I'm going to clear off my screen for a second, and then I'm going to type in my 2.5. Now, to do this, I recommend putting it in parentheses. It's very easy to mess this up because there's so many things you'll be entering at once. So I strongly recommend parentheses around any mixed number. Even around a fraction, it's a very safe idea to do that. So 2 1/2, that really means 2 plus 1/2. 2 plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, so that is my 2.5, and I hit an end parenthesis there. And then I'm going to do times, and then I'm going to do another one, and put 3, and means plus 2/3. 2 divided by 3, end parentheses, and now I've got 2.5 times 3 2/3, and I hit enter. Now that gave me an answer as a decimal, and do you remember what I do to change that into a fraction if I want a fraction? Math, enter, enter. So I hit math, and then enter, and then enter, and it changed it to 55/6. So if your teacher needed a fractional answer, you could say 55/6. So if you can just remember math, enter, enter, you've got it. It's going to really help you a lot for your standardized tests, and anytime you need to use fractions on this big graphing calculator. Have a great day.